Well, the property market can bring great returns if you spend your money wisely.
So is that what today's buyers managed to do?
Well, here's what they bought.
Today it's a tale of 2 studio flats and 2 very different prices. One in the north.
At £18,000.
And one in the south.
Yours, gentlemen, then at £275.
Whilst in Trent Vale, Stoke-on-Trent, there's not a hair out of place.
I don't know how he done it, but Jake still managed to keep his hair looking beautiful like it is now.
All these properties have been sold at auction. We'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer.
We're just 2 miles from Newcastle-under-Lyme in Stoke-on-Trent, in an area close to the A500 and M6 called Trent Vale. And I'm visiting a former local authority estate here.
As well as being famous for the production of tyres nearby, it's also got its history in the brick and tile manufacturing industry. But bringing us up to date, the property I'm here to see, a 3-bed semi-detached, guide price £40,000 plus, £40,000 plus. Wow, looks really good from the outside.
Looks can be deceptive though, so fingers crossed.
Now, for that kind of money, just £40,000, he says, repeating it for a third time, you're not going to expect much, are you? However, you might be surprised. Through the front door, useful sort of storage cupboard there under the stairs, and then through into a pretty decent-sized lounge. Dual aspects, lots of light. I mean, it's crying out for a set of French doors there, isn't it? Patio doors out onto the garden. That would be lovely. But you've got a fire, might be updated just to improve the feel of the place. But in general, it's a good size, and as is classic with these ex-local authority properties, they're all good, well-proportioned rooms. I mean, this is the kitchen. Clearly, it needs lots of tender loving care, some nice units in here. But again, you've got storage, you've got space, it's all solid walls. You know, you can't go wrong, really, can you?
Solid.
Ex-local authority properties are more often than not sturdy, reliable and, well,
Solid as a rock.
Now, on the stairs leading up to the bedrooms, there is this stair lift, which is obviously a bit of a lifesaver to whoever lived here previously. Now, before you just take this out and throw it into a skip, bear in mind this could actually be really useful for somebody else. So there are places all over the country which will actually take these things and recycle them and put them to good use. That is exactly what you should do.
Be not selfish in your doing. Pass it on.
once the stair lift is removed and hopefully recycled, you'll find yourself with a bit more of a spacious hallway, taking you up to the bedrooms.
So, what have we got up here? Well, 3 bedrooms, smallish one towards the front there, and then 2 really good-sized ones towards the back. Again, with loads of built-in storage, which is lovely. The only disappointment I can see is the bathroom, because that's it. And as you can see, it's not huge. Obviously in need of refurbishment, but while you're doing that, how can you get some extra space? Wahaha! I have the solution! Because here in this 3rd bedroom, I think there's enough space to put a stud partition wall here and there, pretty much in line with that. It wouldn't detract from this room too much, but it would give you that much needed extra space in the bathroom. You'd then be able to have a bath and a shower and just a feeling of space. Brilliant, there is always a solution.
Traditionally, there wouldn't have been a bathroom upstairs, and that's really why it's so small. I think it's been squeezed in just to get one up here. One's ablutions would have been carried out downstairs with a visit in the cold to the outside loo. So far, this is the only negative I can find about this house. Time to explore outside.
Now, one of the reasons I love ex-local authority houses is that they were just designed to be practical living spaces. Out the kitchen there, you've got this little corridor which gives access to the front. But there you've got a downstairs loo, a little storage area. But another great thing when you come out the back here, a really nice-sized garden. So it's just plus after plus after plus, really, isn't it?
It's getting better all the time.
It needs updating and sprucing up, of course, but at that guide price of £40,000, you are getting a lot of house for your money. Let's see what a local property agent thinks of it all.
It is just dated, really good space, and I'm amazed by the garden as well. There is a good demand for properties like this in the area, mainly due to the value for money that they offer to families who are wanting their children in the local schools.
In that case, then, what does he think the property could be worth?
I think the property should really be worth in the region of £85,000.
And what about rental?
I think it would be achieving in the region of £450 per calendar month.
Well, it really is a great house. Yes, it needs a bit of modernisation, but you would expect that. And when you consider that guide price of just £40,000 plus, a real auction find. Let's see who spotted it when it went under the hammer.
Semi-detached house, 3 bedrooms, large garden, convenient spots, and I say 40 to start. 40 in the doorway, thank you, at £40,000. 42, 44, 44, 46. Shaking your head, but he's in 48, 50.
With plenty of interest in the lot, we leave and rejoin at 69,000.
69, right at the back. 69 and a half. 69 and a half. 70. No, 70, right on the back wall, all done now. £70,000 once, £70,000 twice. Third and final time at £70,000. On the back wall, well done.
Sold to Dad Mark and his son Jake. They bought this nice little 3-bed semi for £70,000. That's a whopping £30,000 over the guide price. So will it be worth it? I went to the property to find out their plans.
Mark, Jake, great to meet you both.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Congratulations, well done. Tell me why you wanted to buy the house.
We obviously looked at a few properties. We like this house. It's a good stone built property. Like the old council properties, they're usually really sturdy properties. So we looked at it and we thought it had a lot of potential to turn into a good family house.
Right. You paid quite a lot over the guide price for it.
Yeah, we did. When we first originally see the guide price, we thought it would go over that. We thought we might get a little bit less, but it went up quite quick at the auction. And then, yeah, we thought it was worth it, so we decided to go for it.
You're still happy with what you paid?
Yeah.
So tell me about what's going on here between you two, Jake.
We started it last year. Dad's been doing a few properties before that, and then we wanted to do something a little bit different to what we was doing previously. Obviously, Dad was into his football coaching. I was doing football coaching with him at a professional football club and doing a bit of modelling on the side. We thought we'd do a little bit different, so we come into it and here we are, really.
Wow. What kind of football coaching and who for?
I used to do it for Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, right.
So my job used to be mainly the youth side of things. I used to travel around the world a lot with my job. So I spoke to Jake and my other son, Luke, who's still coaching at the moment, and just decided, you know, I'd rather be with the family for a little while. So we decided for a career change and tried this so we could be together a bit more.
What kind of modelling did you do?
Gloves and shoes.
Jealousy, that is. But, no, yeah, all different commercial, catalogue sort of stuff. So,
great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I saw myself in the mirror, here in profile for the first time. I thought, hey, that's a real good-looking boy.
They obviously get on well. Mark is a bit of a model himself, a role model. In that before his coaching career, he had a letting agency, so he's passing his property expertise on to his sons.
We've done our first one, as Jake said. We've done one together before to see whether the boys liked it, and he seemed to do well. He was a grafter, to be fair.
Right.
Anything that didn't involve messing up his hair, but...
I woke up like this.
But other than that, yeah, it's been a career change, but it's been good. It's something we're really enjoying at the moment, so...
Great.
Long may it continue.
Now, you both have a slight London twang to your voice.
Yes,
Is
indeed.
That's where you're from, obviously?
We're not locals, yeah. We're from London. We've all moved out to the Essex borders now.
So what's tempted you north?
It just seems you get so much more for your money up north. I mean, you can pay silly amounts down in London, as you well know.
Mm-hmm.
So we looked up here and, you know, the yield on the rentals as well, it doesn't seem too dissimilar and you're paying a lot less money. So that was what attracted us first and foremost.
Right. Practically, of course, it throws up a bit of an issue, certainly in the early stages, of the fact you don't live close by. What are you going to do? How are you going to handle that?
Well, at the minute we're going to stay up here, so Be nice and fun. We've got some camp beds, so we may stay here and then obviously find somewhere a little bit local as well, if not. But we'll be working long hours, so it'll make more sense for us to stay here because it's going to be a nightmare travelling back and forth all the time.
So it seems for these two the only way isn't Essex, with the boys decamping to Trent Vale for the length of the project. But what are their plans?
Strip it all back, then completely rewiring, replumbing, but lucky for us we've got people in the trades like family. My father-in-law's a plumber and plasterer, so getting them up here to help us out and then modernising throughout. Right. Potentially we're not too sure as well with the wall down here, we're going to knock it through, make it a bit more open plan, but like we said, the kitchen's a nice size, so to do that where the lounge isn't overly big, we're not sure whether it'll do it justice. And then we also said about putting some French doors through the back
that'd be nice.
To give a bit of light through, so depending on whether we sell or rent, depends on how far we go with the work.
So, plenty of people to help, which will in turn help Mark and Jake keep within a £15,000 to £20,000 budget that they've set, and their reasonable 6 to 8 week time frame. But it's a far cry from the glamour of modelling for Jake.
Now, your dad jokingly brought up the whole issue of, you know, your hair and that. You know, roughing and tumbling it in this, knocking down walls, you are going to get a bit dusty and mucked up. Are you all right with that?
It's quite a special hairnet he's got.
Is that? Are you all right getting
No, I'm fine with that. Yeah. If it gets that bad, I'll put a hat on.
To be fair, I mean, he's been learning the plastering trade for the last year. He's been following his father-in-law, John. No, he certainly doesn't mind getting dirty. He's done very well over last year, I'll give him that.
Well, listen, congratulations to both of you. Really look forward to seeing how it turns out.
Lovely, thank you.
Nice to meet
you.
So, another project underway for father and son team Mark and Jake. Two important questions. Number one, how will they get on with that commuting from London to do this place up? And number two, will Jake mess his hair up during the renovation? You can find out later in the show.
Over to Glasgow now and the area south of the city called Priest Hill. After the Second World War, Priest Hill was developed to house some of Glasgow's expanding population. But since then, it's seen years of decline. In recent years, though, there have been moves to regenerate and redevelop Priest Hill with the building of new purpose-built and landscaped housing and a huge shopping centre that's brought new employment to the area.
Well, just 5 minutes walk from Silverburn, a short drive to the M77 and 10 minutes walk to a train station which will take you into the centre of Glasgow is the property I'm here to see. It's a studio flat, guide price £10,000 to £20,000. That's I could do with a bit of a spruce up. Let's hope it gets a bit better inside. Yeah, well, that's not a very good start, is it? Very badly damaged glass there. Into this little entrance foyer. And I mean, communal areas, they just set the scene, don't they? And it's not looking brilliant. Coats of paint required. Let's carry on up to the flat.
Yes, the communal areas and exterior of this property certainly won't help it rent or sell. Hopefully, though, the flat itself is in better condition.
So what's on offer? Well, through the door and facing you is the kitchen. First thing you notice is it's in pretty good nick. It looks like somebody's actually started the renovation. You can't expect much in terms of space, but we have got bathroom over that way, kitchen here. It's very open plan into this area here, which is sort of lounge stroke bedroom. Nice big windows, which is a plus, but that's about it. Sorry, it didn't take too long, but it is what it is.
Size matters, but not how you think.
The kitchen is modern and just about complete. The walls have been skimmed and plastered, just ready for decoration. It's bright and clean, and I reckon with a carefully chosen colour scheme and clever use of furniture, you could give this kitchen come lounge come bedroom the illusion of being more spacious than it actually is.
So at this end of the flat, a storage area there with a large hot water cylinder and tank, and then you've got your bathroom and your loo. It seems disproportionately big, and this certainly seems like a complete waste of space. Although I suppose it's storage. I wonder, with a bit of playing around, these are only stud partition walls, could you create perhaps a bedroom here with an ensuite in it, maybe ditch the bath and just put a shower in, move this wall slightly, maybe a foot or two that way, away from basically into the kitchen, but shift the kitchen that way as well to create yourself a one-bedroom flat. Sounds like a nice idea, but it really comes back to, is it going to make that much difference to the value? Is it going to make that much difference to the rentability? And how much is it going to cost? Factor it in, work it out, and then make your decision.
A little studio flat like this will have a definite ceiling price, so you need to watch your spending. If you decide to keep the bathroom in this location, I'd definitely spruce it up, maybe even replace the suite. On the plus side, it is white. However, it will all be worth nothing if potential suitors are put off by the exterior. The exterior of this block and the communal area is definitely a bugbear. There are sorry signs of neglect. Traditionally in Scotland, communal areas are maintained by property managers called factors or by the residents themselves. The thing that does raise the spirits is that it looks like the residents are aiming to improve things. However, this can be difficult to organise where there are large bills to pay and legal wrangles can ensue. So getting a factor and paying them not only to organise the work but collect money is the more common choice. If the outside could be improved, perhaps getting this lot for anything like that guide price of 10 to 20,000 could be a good investment.
It's generally in good condition. The owners don't have to do much work to it. They can put somebody in here very quickly indeed, just a wee bit of decoration, and move somebody into the property if they want to rent it out.
All positive about the studio flat. What about the communal areas?
The majority of these properties are now owned by buy-to-let investors, and there's a large percentage of them that are now rented out. That has had an adverse impact on the actual work done to the communal areas, and that's quite evident when you walk into the properties.
As I feared. But moving on, let's talk figures.
Studio flats, maximum £20,000 to £22,000. I would expect the rental valuation once done up to achieve £280 per calendar month.
So a nice enough flat in a fairly decent location. Obviously the communal areas need a bit of sorting out, but for the guide price, a potentially good investment and a good return on your money if you were to rent it out. Let's see who went for it when it went under the hammer.
Guide price 10 to 20,000, modern studio flat. It's got to be worth £10,000. Anyone here at 10? 10 here. At £10,000 I've got now. 11 here, 12, 13, 14, 15. Shake of the head with you at 14. At £14,000 are we done? 15, 16, 16, sir. No, 16 there. No, with you at 15. At 15,000, half I've got. 16, half. 17, you're out. With you at £16,500. Stood. 17 back in, half, 18, half, you're out, you're in at 18. At £18,000 then. With you, sir, at £18,000. First time, against you and against you. Second time, are you sure? Third and final time then. Well done, sir.
The successful bid of £18,000 actually came from Janet. IT consultant Janet employed the services of a friend and work colleague Bud to do the bidding on the day. Property novice Janet will also be leaning on Bud for help and advice with the project, as he is a seasoned property developer.
Lean on me when you're not strong.
Janet, Bud, great to meet you both.
Hi.
Congratulations. Tell me why you wanted to buy this flat.
When we were going to the auctions, we had maybe a list of about 5 properties that we were interested in.
All flats?
They were all flats, and I think we liked this one because it was close to the M77 and it was a reasonable price.
Yeah, definitely. Did you see it before you bought it?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Why?
I think I had been on holiday.
Oh, that's a good excuse.
And then we had, when I had come back, we were back at work, and then we had left to go to the auction from work, so I hadn't seen any of the properties that we'd bought.
You bought more than one?
I bought 3.
You are so on my naughty step. Honestly. 3 properties without seeing them.
Naughty.
Yes, Hammer's golden rule broken not once, but 3 times. Luckily for Janet, the other 2 properties haven't turned out bad, and neither has this one.
How was it when you walked through the door?
It's actually quite good. I mean, a lot of work's already been done in the renovation, so I think we're quite hopeful that we should be able to turn it around quite quickly.
What did you think of it when you first saw it?
I was actually pleasantly pleased from the point of view that when I did get it looked at properly and get a proper survey done of it, then the value was marked real low, so that when I came in and seen it, I was pleasantly surprised that
right.
an awful lot of work's been done and there's very little left to do.
The valuations game is a tricky one and nothing should be taken for granted. The home report on this property said the value was £22,000. Janet paid 18, which seemed a safe bet. But then she was alarmed when her independent surveyor valued it at only £10,000. However, she plans to rent this out and is taking a long-term view. So is she going to try and add value by making it a 1-bed flat?
You probably could make it into a 1-bed flat, but I think I'm not going to do that. I think we're going to just leave it as a studio and maybe try and purchase one of those beds that goes up into the corner. I think that's our plan, is to leave as it is and to get it on the market, as in the rental market, as soon as possible.
A quick turnaround shouldn't be a problem here, particularly with Bud's contacts such as builders, electricians and plumbers. The pair just plan to finish what's been started here and keep the work to a minimum so as not to exceed their tight budget of £1,500 and even tighter timescale of 2 weeks. Once work is done though, Janet is hoping for a rental return of between £250 to £300 per month, which could bring in a very healthy yield. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though, there won't be any rental if people are put off by the exterior and the communal areas.
What do you know about what's going on in terms of that?
We have been speaking to a couple of the neighbours and basically I don't think there is anyone maintaining the building. So we were discussing earlier, and Bud could probably explain better.
So the guy that does the factoring for me, I'll be asking him to meet with the rest of the neighbours and see if he can take over factoring of the building.
Oh, right.
And I'm sure he's up for that.
So you're looking at driving that then?
Yeah.
Wow.
Janet and Bud's decision to put a factor in place will help protect her investment, and the job of sprucing up the communal areas has received a little unexpected help.
At the auction, the flat was sponsored by a local builder who provides 30 litres of paint. So what we're proposing to do in conjunction with the neighbours, if they'll allow it, is to use that paint to paint the communal close. And also replace some of the windows with maybe clear perspex rather than glass.
Brilliant.
To hopefully maintain the close.
Well, listen, congratulations. Good luck with that and good luck with sorting the flat out.
Thanks very much.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Well, it seems like Janet and Bud have got the right idea for both the flat and the communal areas. That's good to see. How will they get on sorting everything out? You can find out later in the show.
Coming up, it's a tale of 2 cities, as in Aldgate, London. A studio flat is bought for almost £1,000 per square foot.
Whilst in Glasgow, lower prices plus a quality finish means there's also money to be made. Before those 2 properties, though, we return now to Stoke-on-Trent and the industrial area of Trent Vale, where earlier I found this 3-bed semi guided at just £40,000 plus. It was dated and tired, but I really took a shine to it.
You've got storage, you've got space, it's all solid walls. You know, you can't go wrong really, can you?
It was bought at auction for a whopping £30,000 over the guide price by father and son team Mark and Jake. The pair had only recently moved into property developing together, having previously worked as football coaches. And despite being based in Essex, they travelled north to continue their fledgling careers.
So what's tempted you north?
Just seems you get so much more for your money up north. I mean, you can pay silly amounts down in London, as you well know. So we looked up here and, you know, you do yield on the rentals as well. It doesn't seem too dissimilar and you're paying a lot less money. So that was what attracted us first and foremost.
Right.
The boys had a long list of jobs ahead of them in order to get it ready for the rental market. But with help from Mark's other son, Luke, they were hopeful of getting the work completed. 3 months later, we returned to Trent Vale to see if the boys are right to swap football boots for paintbrushes. Plans to knock down the kitchen wall and create French doors have clearly been shelved. But the boys have turned this tired and run-down property into a fresh, contemporary and bright house, ideal for the rental market. And upstairs, the good work continues, with the mobility chair having been recycled. Neutral tones upstairs help create light and in turn a feeling of space. In a 3-bed house, I would have liked to have seen a bigger bathroom, but I'm nitpicking. The finish upstairs and downstairs is fantastic. And out the back, it's not looking half bad either. A much more manageable garden is complemented by the whitewashed and spruced up outdoor facilities. The whole property looks like a new build, ready to move into.
We started at the top, so obviously had to make a lot of repairs to the roof. All the new guttering. We done completely new central heating, new combi boiler, rewired the whole house, replastered the house, obviously new bathroom, new kitchen, new flooring, and then the cosmetic stuff. So yeah, we've done a fair bit in it, and me and Jake obviously done most, well, I've done most of it to be fair, if we're honest. But we also had a lot of help from my other son, Luke. I mean, he come up the weekends when he could, when he wasn't working. And one of our highlights was Jake's sister, Ellie, come up to help us as well. I mean, she's a 12-year-old little girl, but she come and helped us in the gardens and things like that and done a little bit of work around. So that was good.
It really did become a family effort. Jake and Luke worked in the garden. Jake also used his recently acquired plastering skills. And can I say, well done, it looks great. While Mark did the kitchen and bathroom work. The joint effort means they were able to complete the work in just over 7 weeks, and they only spent just under £10,000, far below their original prediction of £20,000. But with the kitchen wall still standing and no French doors in sight, the spend was bound to be reduced.
So when we first moved in, we did talk about potentially knocking down the wall between the lounge and the kitchen. But after working out the logistics and having a look around, we didn't think it'd be right for the size of the lounge, where your sofa, your dining table and stuff might go. So for us personally, we thought it'd work out better to leave it up.
We also considered doing French doors going out to the back garden to open it up. The logistics didn't work out on that one, to be fair. Our window man could get up at the same time we was here. But considering it now, we are actually still going to go ahead and do that. Within the next couple of weeks, we are going to put them back in.
As the house is a long way from home in Essex, the pair saved travel time by living on site, with the help of neighbours providing the odd meal and countless cups of coffee.
For the first few weeks, we didn't even have a shower here, so, you know, washing in a bucket, things like that. I don't know how he done it, but Jake still managed to keep his hair looking beautiful like it is now. Somehow he done it. I think he actually used his plaster to actually plaster your hair, didn't you?
It was quite difficult to knock down. Obviously, you can see Dad's still got some of the dust in his white colour, so he's looking forward to having a shower when we get back.
All right, fellas, break it up. With a total spend here of just under £80,000, father and son will be keen to find out valuations and the opinions of 2 local property agents, starting with the agent who saw it originally.
I'm really pleased to see what the new owners have done with the property. They haven't gone overboard because the area does have a ceiling price and it looks fantastic.
The standard of finish throughout the property, it's been done to a good standard. Simply a nice kitchen's got in, good bathroom. It just finishes the project well.
Originally, the agent thought this house could make £85,000 on resale. What does he reckon now he's seen this?
If I were to put this property on the market for resale, I'd be comfortable with a figure of £105,000.
I would suggest that the property's value is in the region of £105,000 to £110,000.
The higher valuation of £110,000 would give a possible pre-tax profit of £30,000, making Mark and Jake's overspend on auction day seem like a good decision. However, it's rental they're most interested in.
I would suggest that the rental would be set around £525 per calendar month.
I'd be expecting to achieve £475 per calendar month.
We estimate it to be around 5 to maybe 550 if we were lucky. But the first valuation, the higher figure, is what we've already been offered by someone, so... Yeah. Seems to be okay, happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that top valuation of £525 per month could mean a yield of around 8%, making this project something of a success. However, the boys certainly aren't finished in Stoke just yet.
Yeah, so we've already got the next property in the pipeline, and that's just round the corner from here, not too far away, so we're undecided whether the camp beds are coming out or we're going to stay here and move in here for a little while, but I don't know, I need a bit of luxury.
Yeah.
Your hair again, can it cope?
I'm quite happy with the camp bed. I just get on with everything. I'm not a diva like Dad is, so we'll cope.
We head south now to Aldgate, London, named after one of the gates in the Roman wall that surrounded the area. Since then, there's been a lot of building. You can see the famous Gherkin just over there. Transport links are great with trains, buses and Boris bikes. And the property I'm here to see is just around the corner from this tube station.
No, this is never going to be the quietest place to be, but what do you expect when you're in central London? But this is a pleasant street, and I'm here to see something that's in this attractive building today. Now, it had a guide price of £230,000, which sounds reasonable for this part of London. But that is for just a studio flat. Anyway, enough of the talking. Let's head on up to the first floor, take a look around, because I've got a feeling this won't take too long.
The communal areas are neat, tidy, bright and fairly modern, so a good start.
Well, compact is the word that springs to mind, but it's all clean and tidy. Wow, that's quite a bit of storage for a studio flat. I mean, that really is almost a luxury here in London. I'm not sure the fridge looks great there, but the kitchen, well, there's nothing wrong with that. You've got a granite worktop, look at it. Fantastic. 2 lovely feature windows, although this does cover them up. I'm wondering whether if you got rid of that, you might see a bit more of the window. And in here, I mean, look, this is a real luxury. There's a bath in here. Now, the reason I say that, because if you're looking at space saving, you'd normally have a wet room or just a shower. So, I'm thinking with my head, not my heart, even though I do love a bath. What about if we take the bathroom out of there, we put the kitchen in there, and we just have a shower room in there? That would work. You've got to think about the expense of doing that. Or you could just leave it as it is, because actually, quite frankly, it works perfectly well.
Well, if I were going to live here, I would move the kitchen and the bathroom and make them high spec. It's the only way to maximise the value when there's no going upwards or outwards. It would also make the space nice to live in. I mean, not sleeping in your kitchen has to be a plus. It all requires clever thought in how to reconfigure and furnish it.
So what sort of furniture should you choose for a studio flat? Well, there are plenty of clever options on the market these days, and you should always opt for pieces with onboard storage. You could choose a convertible bed that folds up against the wall. That could be a good choice, and you might even find one that has a flat screen TV on the front. Instead of a standard sofa, you could use a two-seater, and glass shelves and glass tables are always great for blending into their surroundings without feeling cluttered. Yes, you will need to be clever here, but it will be worth it in the long run. And I think you could do a lot better than what's here at the moment.
You and me and you in my little room.
To you, this lot might seem tiny and overpriced at that guide price of $230,000. But it has 122 years left on its lease, and it's in the up-and-coming location of Aldgate. Add in the current hot London property market, and I think this little flat might go for surprisingly big numbers. What does the local estate agent make of this studio flat?
Aldgate as an area, it appeals to a lot of people because it's so central. A lot of the city professionals like to be around here. You can literally walk into the city. It traditionally, has been an area that's always performed quite well in the sales market, and it's probably one of the fastest growing areas in London over the last 12 months.
That should bode well for the rental market. What sort of rent could you expect?
Once renovated, I think you should be looking in the region of £1,200 per calendar month, because of location more than anything else.
So is the guide price of $230,000 what you would expect?
$230,000 is quite cheap for the location, if I'm completely honest with you. It's an area where, again, the price has risen quite dramatically in the last year or so. Lots of new developments have pushed the prices up, because if you look at the new developments that are in and around this particular apartment, they're going for prices in the region of £1,000 per square foot.
So at around 290 square feet, it should enable a developer to make a potential profit after refurbishment.
If renovated to a high standard, I think the property could achieve in the region of £315,000. If done to a standard with a very good kitchen and bathroom, I think that's the kind of region you could look at.
Well, it might only have 2 small rooms, but you'd be hard pushed to find even a studio flat for that guide price in this central London spot. And I hope my tips have shown you how easy it is to make a studio space perfectly livable. So let's see who agreed when we went to auction.
What am I bid for this one? Not 55, Aldgate. Nice little pied-à-terre for you. 210, I don't mind. Thank you, sir. 210. 210. 215 now. 215. 220. 25. 30. 230. 35. 35. 40. 40. 240. 45. 45. 50. 50 now. 55. 55 and 60. 60 and 65. 65 and 70. 70. 75, gentlemen. 275, make it 280, please. No. At 275, back with you, front row on the left. First time at 275. Second time at 275. Third and final time at 275. Want to come back? Shakes his head. Yours, gentlemen, then at 275, all out. Sold to you, gentlemen, thank you very much, at 275,000.
And the successful bidder, sat with his son Ashish, was property developer Anup. Unfortunately, he broke through the 3% stamp duty barrier with his spend of $275,000. We met back at the studio and squeezed into his new bedroom, lounge and kitchen to find out more of his plans.
Anup, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done. So here we are in a rather small studio flat today.
Very small.
Didn't take you long to look round, I'm presuming.
No. One look.
One look, one glance?
Yes.
I love it. So come on, tell me the story. Why did you want to buy here in Aldgate?
Well, the city prices, residential prices are catching up with the West End and the Knightsbridge and the Chelseas. So it's a good buy.
London is going ballistic at the moment in terms of property prices. Do you think there is money to be made here?
Yes.
So you paid $275,000 for this flat?
Yes, it's nearly £1,000 per square foot.
So you paid nearly £1,000 per square foot?
Yes.
So that's quite expensive.
Yes. It's quite expensive, but when you look at the position of it, Aldgate, what's going around here, I mean, the studios in the new buildings, they're nearly about £500,000 to £600,000. Studios will be the thing.
I know a lot of people that wouldn't even look at a studio, but it depends if you want to be in the heartbeat of London. that's what you're possibly
Well, I mean,
looking
if you
at.
look at Tokyo, they've got cubicles.
Yeah.
People live in them. I'm aiming for a professional to come in, to rent it out or to sell it if we get a margin of 15 to 20%.
So you're hoping that the property market will continue to rise?
Oh, definitely. There's not enough stock in London.
Well, I hope we never have to make cubicles under the hammer. Anyway, Anup is partly banking on those property prices powering on. But he's not going to sit back. He has a plan to add more value, and he's not going to be working alone. His son, Ashish, looks after the money side of the family projects, and his daughter, Arti, has just completed a master's degree in design and architecture. And she's already been working on some designs for her father's acquisition.
So what are you going to do to change this? How are you going to make that margin?
My daughter, Arti, she's just done rough 2 designs on this to change it slightly.
So how do you think you can change it? Because, walking in here today, it kind of works.
The lighting has to be changed. You got the tiling, which is completely, I think, wrong here. The fridge, which stands out there, which should be under the unit. So there's quite a lot to be changed. You'll be surprised when we finish with it.
You're going to leave the bathroom where it is?
Bathroom, I'm thinking of changing into, take the bath out, put a shower. A good shower in.
That's something I thought of earlier. Why not put the kitchen in there and the wet room or the shower room in there?
It's a fantastic idea. As the first thing I thought of it was to do what you just said. But with the way everything is laid out, the pipe work, we might look at it.
Ah, you see, I can hear your brain going, oh, actually, I might go back and look at that.
It would make it a very big flat then.
So let's talk about your budget then. How much money have you got to do the work?
The budget is 25,000.
So that's quite a healthy budget, £25,000 to do the work here.
The thing is, you can't buy off shelf. It has to be made. So once you start making units and the cupboards, the cost goes up.
So a bespoke studio flat in Aldgate is exactly what you're going to have here.
Exactly. That's what
So how long do you think it's going to take you before this project's
Between
complete?
6 to 8 weeks.
OK, so fairly quick.
Oh, yeah, you have to finish. Otherwise, then it is costing you money.
So, Anup, I know you're a property developer full-time.
Yes.
Is that something that you still enjoy doing?
Oh, yes. Property is it's in my blood.
It's been lovely meeting you. Congratulations and good luck with this.
Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to seeing the refurbishment. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, Anup might have bought himself a small space, but he has big plans for this studio flat. However, he still has some layout decisions to make, and will we return to see that granite worktop? Join me later on in the programme and you can find out.
Doing up a property always takes longer than you think. We've seen how one person got on. How about the others?
Did our buyers take longer than they'd planned? Time to find out.
Let's head back to the south side of Glasgow, where earlier I looked at a studio flat with a guide price of just £10,000 to £12,000. However, before I'd even got inside, alarm bells were ringing.
Yeah, well, that's not a very good start, is it? Very badly damaged glass there. I mean, communal areas, they just set the scene, don't they? And it's not looking brilliant.
Despite the lacklustre welcome, the studio was bought for £18,000 by Janet. She had just acquired 3 properties at auction, of which this was one. The aim was to provide a pension for her future, but since this was a journey into the unknown, she had enlisted the help of friend and colleague Bud, who had some property development know-how. So I wondered if they would like my idea about turning the studio into a 1-bedroom flat.
You probably could make it into a 1-bed flat, but I think I'm not going to do that. I think we're going to just leave it as a studio and maybe try and purchase one of those beds that goes up into the corner. I think that's our plan, is to leave as it is and to get it on the market, as in the rental market, as soon as possible.
A bonus for Janet was that some work had already been done, and as the auction house runs a scheme whereby a local building supply company sponsors one lot, the flat also came with 30 litres of white paint. So her tight budget of £1,500 and even tighter time frame of just 2 weeks was looking achievable. Well, 4 weeks later, we've returned to see how she's got on. Small spaces such as this, you need to maximise light and space, which they've done well here, and not without a little creativity.
What I did was fitted this bed, and it's very much a case of, because it was a studio flat, I thought the bed would be a central point, and this is one of the sort of fold-down beds that goes away during the daytime and leaves the full capacity of the room to be used. So the whole bed can get made up in a 1 hour, and then in the morning you just shove the bed away and that's it. Turns into a cupboard and that's you ready.
A simple and effective solution to a space problem, and coupled with a nice clean finish to the rest of the property, Janet and Bud really have made this studio flat far more appealing.
It's been 4 weeks since we got the keys, and what we've done is some decoration. Living room and the kitchen, we've fitted a wall bed, and within the bathroom we have fitted a shower, wet room wall, and obviously there's still a bit of decoration still to be done within the bathroom. It still needs some wallpaper.
Along with some new flooring in the bathroom, the studio flat has really improved. However, it was actually the communal areas, or close as it's known in Scotland, that really needed work. And with the addition of 30 litres of white paint from the company that sponsored the property at auction, the pair were keen to improve the surroundings of Janet's purchase.
So we're going to use that paint to do the communal areas of the stairs. However, so far the builder's not turned up with the paint, so the outside area is still to be done. We have been trying to contact the other local residents and dropped my name through each of the doors to try and form a wee group to get a factor to look after the communal areas for us. There does seem to be some interest, but it is quite limited as of yet.
We're going to have to try and get some sort of factor arrangement. I think some of the other neighbours that we've been speaking to have been putting their own lights in and trying to maintain it, but obviously that takes an awful lot of work from individuals.
Luckily for Janet, the state of the close hasn't put prospective renters off, and they've already found a tenant, which is just as well, as they unfortunately came across some unexpected costs.
We got a notice from, I think it was Glasgow City Council, that said that there had been communal work done to the roofing area, of which we then have a portion to pay, which was about £2,800 to pay.
Glasgow City Council, the contact person's been great. She explained the works that they had done, which was that infestation of pigeons in all of the roofs. So they had to obviously clean all the loft spaces and fix the roof so no more pigeons could come in. So I think the total bill was about £30,000. So as Bud rightly says, our share of that, I think it's I think it's exactly £2,914, which isn't ideal, but that's the position that we're in.
There is some discussion between Janet and her solicitor about whether she is liable to pay these costs. So aside from those, Janet's renovation has cost £1,800 and taken just over 2 weeks to complete, not far off her original estimates. And with a total spend of £19,800, coupled with the fact she's already been able to rent it out, I think she and Bud should be rather pleased. We've asked 2 local property experts for their opinions, starting with the agent who saw it originally.
I like the way that the owners have decorated it. They managed to maintain the nice airy feel about the property, and the introduction of the fold-down bed is particularly good given the size of the property, and it will be attractive to anybody either buying it or renting the property.
Well, speaking of renting,
I would say currently you would comfortably achieve £300 per calendar month.
I would expect this property to achieve £300 per calendar month.
That's fine. In actual fact, we've already got it rented out. We're charging £280 per calendar month.
That would mean a huge rental yield of just under 19%. That, coupled with a modest valuation of £22,000, bringing in a pre-tax profit of £2,200, shows that their decision to keep the property and rent it was the right one, making Janet's first foray into the property market a success.
Well, a great result on the Scottish studio flat. But now it's time to find out how the other studio in Aldgate, London fared. It had a guide price of $230,000. To be honest, I had low expectations, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Look, this is a real luxury. There's a bath in here.
Step up and up. A seasoned property developer who, along with son Ashish, bought the studio flat at auction for a whopping $275,000.
Sold to you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
45 grand over the guide price.
So you paid $275,000 for this flat?
Yes, it's nearly £1,000 per square foot.
So you paid nearly £1,000 per square foot?
Yes.
So that's quite expensive.
It's quite expensive, but when you look at the position of it, Aldgate, what's going around here, I mean, the studios in the new buildings, they're nearly about £500,000 to £600,000. Studios will be the thing.
Anup was totally unfazed by the price paid, and along with his son and daughter helping, he had aspirations of creating a bespoke high-end property attractive to the nearby city workers. 2 months later, we've returned to see how the project has progressed.
Everything is red and brown. Oh, I'm here again. With a sunshine smile upon my face, my friends, a glass at hand, and all my inhibitions have disappeared without a trace. I'm mad. Oh, I found somebody who
Anup's daughter Artie has played a blinder when it comes to the design. Clever storage makes much better use of the space. The layout has remained the same, and while some people in other parts of the country may balk at sleeping in your kitchen, for a studio in this location, well, it certainly works. To find out more, we're going to catch up with Anup's son Ashish, as Anup is currently away on business.
We've changed the flooring at the moment. We've kept the granite worktop, but we've added some new retro tiles, new units, completely new bathroom, walk-in wardrobe, and we've changed sort of the furniture in here as well, just to make it nicer. We think the type of person that would be wanting a flat like this is sort of like a city trader, someone works in the city, it's only 10 minutes walk from here. So we've gone for a high-end finish with sort of nice amenities and just basically a pied-à-terre for a high-end client, really. In terms of the bathroom, we were thinking of putting it into where the walk-in wardrobe is now, but we tried it. We sort of measured it out, masked it all out. It didn't work. It would have to be in a very small shower room, and the actual WC would have had to stay in the bathroom anyway. So the layout didn't work with the planner, with my sister who helped design it, and so we just decided to keep it where it was. It just was the best use of the space.
Good thinking. There's no point changing something for change's sake. It's got to work, and in such a small space, remain practical. It's also important to know your market, and Anup and son Ashish have clearly recognised that prospective buyers or renters in the area will be expecting a high-end finish, even if it's just a place to lay their head during the week. Whilst Anup has been managing other projects, it's been down to Ashish to oversee this renovation, and with a background in accountancy, it's clear where his main strengths lie.
My father initially thought it would cost about $25,000 to actually do up the flat. I've bought that in quite a lot under, in sort of with strict ruling, I would say. So we've actually come in under budget at about $12,300, and I still think we've spent where it's necessary. I think in terms of the initial estimates of the actual look of the flat, we were pricing a lot of bespoke furniture, but we've actually managed to bring in non-custom furniture, which has saved us a lot of money, I think. I think that really has brought that in budget. It's actually taken 6 weeks to do the project. We bought it in under time as well. We've done that just by keeping a very, very sort of strong overview of the labour force and just ensuring that they've met their targets. And we've got everything in here before the build started. So it's been quite a very, well, I would say, very strongly managed project, this one, which is why it's coming under budget and under time.
So a tightly run ship has certainly paid dividends. However, they are still undecided whether to rent or sell. Can we help them decide? With a total spend of around $287,000 here, well, it's going to be interesting to hear the opinions of two local property experts.
I think it's an excellent property, finished to a very high standard. They've made the best use of the space, very contemporary feel, and I think it would be very, very popular for either an investor or potentially a city professional.
So it's not a large space, but they've done really well with utilising some of the space in the wardrobe area.
There's a very strong demand for flats like this at the moment. The property is located on the city fringes, which means easy access into the city. So there's a very high demand for professionals that are looking for pied-à-terres in the area.
In the current market, you'll be looking at achieving for rentals anything between £1,450 to £1,475 per month.
This property would rent for in the region of between £1,200 to £1,400 per calendar month.
The top valuation there would equate to a possible yield of just over 6%, which is pretty reasonable. But it's the sales valuations I'm dying to hear.
For a current resale, in this location with the quality of the apartment, you'll be looking around £350,000.
I would resell this property in the region of £350,000.
At £350,000, I think that's a good profit in a short period of time. I think that's been achieved by the actual kit out and how we fit out the property, and I'm really pleased with that. Actually, I think it's more than what we thought. So I'm glad that we've added value to the property.
Yes, I'd say a possible profit of nearly $63,000 for 6 weeks' work, well, isn't too bad at all. With plenty more properties in the pipeline for Ashish and his father coming up, does he think Dad will be happy with the valuations?
I think my father will be very pleased with the values. I think, as I said, it's more than what we thought it would be. So I'm glad that with our hard work, it's sort of paid off, really. So he'll be thrilled.
Well, that's it for today's show. We'll meet more new buyers and find out what they did with their properties next time.
Look forward to seeing you then on Homes Under the Hammer.
Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.